Hey everyone, I'm Mike from the parkprodigy.com, and on today's video I'm going to break down some of the biggest mistakes you do not want to make at Epic Universe. And there's no denying, Epic Universe is no longer the brand new park, but crowds, wait times, and confusion have still been issues in 2026. And the reason being is this park is massive, tech heavy, weather sensitive, and it's definitely expensive. So small mistakes here don't just slow you down, they can wreck your entire day. And that's why today I'm going to break down 10 of the biggest mistakes guests make at Epic Universe and exactly how you can avoid them so you don't waste your time and your money. As always, I'm very excited, so let's go get started. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video. Like I said, I'm about to break down 10 of the biggest mistakes you can make at Epic Universe and how to avoid them to have the most amazing day as possible. So we're going to jump right in, and we're starting with mistake number one, and that is going to be underestimating the Florida weather. So the reality at Epic Universe is that there's definitely still a lack of shade. I've spoken about this in my videos, but Epic Universe is still growing, literally. So trees and landscaping are young, which means that there's very little natural shade. So because of that, you definitely want to make sure that you're packing and that you're preparing for your day effectively. And what that means is really make sure that you're staying hydrated. If you want to avoid having to buy water bottles at the park, definitely bring a reusable water bottle from home. But on top of that, you're definitely going to want to bring sunscreen, cooling towels, a fan, ponchos, umbrella, essentially anything you would need for a hot day out in the Florida sun, you want to be prepared for at Epic Universe. Now, taking it one step further, there's also the planning aspect of this as well. And what I would say here is you do have to be mindful of the outdoor ride risk, which means that a lot of times a majority of the attractions at Epic Universe are outside. And what that means is if there's inclement weather such as lightning, storms, or heavy rain in the area, most of the rides probably will shut down. So because of this, there's two things you really want to be mindful of. If you have a multi-day ticket that gives you a usage window, so for example, a 3-day Universal Orlando ticket will give you a 6-day window, you might want to skip a day if you see that there's rain in the forecast. Or my honest opinion is Universal Studios Florida is always the best park at Universal Orlando to visit when it's raining. So maybe you just swap which park you're going to visit on which day. The second thing would be make sure that you have a plan. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but having a backup plan and understanding where you should sort of pivot to when it rains. You're doing the right thing if you're watching videos like this, but making sure you understand like, hey, maybe we should go check out the Untrainable Dragon show or Le Cirque Arcanus, which is the show in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. While it rains can help you just continue moving along and getting stuff done throughout your day. But over to mistake number two, and that would be showing up without a game plan. There is so much to understand that goes into your day at Epic Universe. Do you have early park admission? Do you not? Which rides are you going to take advantage of during early park admission? Are you going to show up a little bit later and then stay super late at night because you've been reading and watching that Super Nintendo World is less crowded at night? If you want to tackle Epic Universe without a Universal Express Pass or without a VIP tour, you definitely need to understand and have a game plan so that, like I said, the day is probably not going to go as planned. I've been to this park a bunch at this point in time. I would say I've really only had like one perfect day where everything fell into place. Everything else outside of that, we've had to pivot a little here and there. So you want to just make sure you understand what are your must-do rides, what order are you going to try to do them in, if something sort of is down or if rains, this, that, what orders are you going to sort of pivot. And so here's kind of what I would say, what you have to keep in mind. Like I said, you need to make the decision before you even get down to Orlando. Do you want sort of the convenience that comes with the Universal Express Pass? If so, you definitely have to budget for it because it can be super expensive. It's the same thing. Maybe you want to take it one step further and go with the VIP experience. That's your call, up to you, but make that decision before you get down to Orlando. And then you also have to think about where are you staying, which hotel, because there's also the transportation aspect that you have to kind of keep in mind. If you're planning to get to Epic at 10 a.m., are you staying at a Universal Orlando hotel where the shuttle buses will start running every 20 minutes, an hour before early park admission starts, and then you can kind of just hop on one and be at Epic? Or are you staying in an off-site hotel where it's going to take you a little bit longer to get over to the parks? And then your early park admission strategy. I personally feel like you should leave Super Nintendo World for last based off of the wait time data, and your priority really should be Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry. And what I would do is if Harry Potter for some reason is down to start the day, I would just pivot and go over to Isle of Berk and get everything in that world out of the way during your extra hour. But if you don't have the extra hour, my honest opinion is I would head and I would start in Dark Universe, and I would get both of those rides out of the way as early as possible. And if you do need help coming up with your itinerary and your park plan, I'm actually launching a brand new tool over at the Park Prodigy. I've been working on it for a while now, and what you could do is you could pretty much tell the tool which rides you want to go on, and based on projected wait times, it will pretty much give you the order of the rides. So like I said, if you do want help planning your next Universal Orlando vacation, just go check out the parkprodigy.com. But over to mistake number 3, and I would say not using single rider or child swap correctly or at all during your trip. So one of the most important things to understand about Epic Universe is that a majority of the rides do require 40 inches or taller. So that definitely makes it difficult for families with kids of different ages, because some of the younger kids might just be a little bit too short to get on the ride. And so you have to kind of get creative. So the way it works is that you'll all be able to wait on the line together, but one adult will go on the ride, let's say with one of your other kids, while the other adult waits with the young child that might not be able to go on the ride at that point in time. And then once the adult who is riding gets off, you just swap, just like it sounds, and you essentially avoid having to wait on the entire full line again. So some of the rides that I think this is the most important for are definitely going to be Minecart Madness, Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry, Monsters Unchained, and Stardust Racers. And what I would always say too is just make sure you ask a team member as you're getting on the line for the attraction, because it's not always clear sort of like how it works, and just say like, hey, when are we going to be told about child swap? Like, when do we do that? And they'll give you more direction. The other important one that I did mention is the single rider line. So it's not guaranteed to be available every day, but what you could do is you can, again, ask the team members when you get to Epic, like, okay, is this ride open for single rider? And what you could possibly do is if you have like, if you want to go on the ride with your one teenager, right? Essentially, you guys can just split up and hopefully try to get through the ride a little bit quicker than the regular standby line, while the rest of the family grabs a snack, bathroom break, whatever it might be. All right, mistake number 4, and this is one that I think is new for 2026, and that would be not using your park-to-park ticket to go over to Epic Universe at night. So one of the reasons why this might be a mistake is this is definitely one of the newer options that families have, because starting in 2026, we do have new ticket options that allow you to visit Epic Universe more than one day, but also they allow you to go park to park into Epic Universe now if you have a 3-day or longer ticket. And so it's important to understand that aspect as well. So 2-day tickets at this point in time, the correct 2-day ticket will just allow 1 day at Epic Universe. 3-day or more tickets allow you to go into Epic Universe multiple days if you have a base ticket, or you can upgrade and do a park to park ticket, and then you would be able to visit at night. And that's kind of what I'm getting at here. Don't be afraid to go over to Epic Universe at night just because it's at a different campus and you're starting your day over at Islands of Adventure. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is the park hours at all 3 of the parks have really been completely different to start the year. Islands of Adventure has been closing a little bit earlier than Universal Studios Florida and Epic Universe, but Epic Universe now is starting to open up a little bit earlier, but it's still staying open an hour later. So with that said, just because Islands of Adventure is closing at 8 o'clock doesn't mean that Epic Universe is. It might be open until 10 o'clock. And so you can still go park to park over to Epic at 5 p.m. and you might get 5 hours at this park, which I think can be huge. And the reason why I'm saying don't be afraid to go over at night is because based off the historical data, the wait times for the rides definitely do pull back at night. I would say the biggest one is going to be Harry Potter and the Battle at the Ministry, where it typically is going to be around the 143-minute wait, but can drop down to around 75 minutes within the last hour. Now, the reason why I don't like to recommend to do that is because Harry Potter also, if it's at capacity within the last 2 or 3 hours, Universal can shut that line off, which means that you can't get online if you leave this for the end of the night. You're pretty much taking a risk and a gamble. I don't think it's worth it if you only have 1 day. There's more advantages, such as over in Super Nintendo World, where we do see wait times pull back at night, where we have Mario Kart goes from typically around the 102-minute wait in the middle of the day to just a 43-minute wait at night, and then Yoshi's Adventure is 50 minutes in the middle of the day down to an 18-minute at night. And these aren't just flukes. This is consistent wait time patterns that we're seeing, and that's why I think you definitely will get a lot out of your time if you don't hesitate going park to park over to Epic. All right, over to mistake number 5, and I would say sleeping or skipping the Dark Universe character interactions. So most guests are laser focused on the rides in Dark Universe, and when it comes to meet and greets, I feel like a lot of the fame and glory has been going over to Super Nintendo World, or even over to the How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk and that Toothless meet and greet. But there's a lot of really cool interactions in Dark Universe that I think you should definitely keep an eye out for. So the first is going to be the one where you can meet Frankenstein's monster and the Bride of Frankenstein. So the photo backdrop features upright coffins you can stand in, unlike any character experience in any park. And what I also like about this is the interactions will run a little bit longer than compared compared to your typical theme park meet and greet. And these characters are completely committed to their roles and really make it genuinely cool, and also there's like a fun aspect, and also it's pretty funny. But there's also some roaming interactions that you definitely don't want to miss. So we do have Igor, who walks through Darkmoor carrying a bag of body parts. We have the Invisible Man, which hides in the shadows near the decaying structures. And we also have Monster Hunters, which hang out near the Burning Blade taverns, ready to engage guests with dark humor. And last but not least, I can't forget a traveling musician, which plays ominous tunes and tells spooky tales in the town square over there. And the truth is, outside of Frankenstein's monster and the Bride of Frankenstein, most of these are just going to be roaming characters. And what that means is if you're rushing to the rides, you might just miss them, and that's why I made it a point to talk about it in this video. Okay, over to mistake number 6, and I would say the food sticker shock and also the seating nightmares. So one of the things that you definitely want to be mindful of is budgeting when it comes to your day at Epic Universe. And I went and I looked at a bunch of the menus, and the reality is Epic Universe, the quick service restaurants, do cost slightly more than some of the other restaurants at the other Universal Orlando parks. When it comes to quick service, I would say the average entree is really going to run you between $18 up to $25 per person, and that might not include a drink. So you definitely want to be mindful of that. I actually have an entire video on how much to budget for your day at Epic Universe, so definitely be sure to go check out that video if you do want to learn more. But the other important tip and trick that I would say is what I personally have found from my days at Epic is that if you are hitting sort of your lunch and your dinner at your typical times, I would say between 12 o'clock for lunch to 1 o'clock, and then for dinner, really for most families, especially with young kids, they're probably going to try to eat between 5 to 7. The lines at a lot of these quick service restaurants can be out the door. I've specifically have seen this at Pizza Moon. I've seen this at the barbecue restaurant, Toadstool Cafe. You can end up waiting longer to eat than you can for a lot of the rides, which is crazy. And so for that reason, what I would say is if you're trying to get the most out of your day, again, as you're planning your day, strategically plan to try to eat in like an off period, maybe 3 o'clock for lunch, then you have a little bit of a later dinner, hitting, let's say, the tail end of 7 o'clock, because I also would be mindful that the restaurants probably are not going to be operating until 10 o'clock if the park's open till 10. But long story short, you just want to try to sort of zig when everyone else zags, and you'll be able to at least get a lot done, and you'll be able to hopefully not wait that long for a table. Okay, over to mistake number 7, and this one has become very important in 2026, and that would be not checking park hours or early park admission rides before you arrive. And this one catches people who have planned their trips months in advance, and they assume everything they've read is accurate by the time they walk through the gates. And this is especially true if you're watching this video now, and this is probably going to be around April 2026, but you're visiting, let's say, in the fall or any time in the future in 2027 or beyond. What we've seen is that there's definitely some changing within the hours. So Epic Universe hours have varied throughout 2026 already. So like I said, typically we had seen the park opening up at 10 a.m., closing at 10 p.m., but now the park has shifted and it started opening up at 9 a.m. and closing around 9 p.m. or even 8 p.m. in certain situations. But that means early park admission then shifts an hour earlier as well. So you definitely just want to be mindful of that, and you want to keep an eye on the park hours as you get closer to your trip. What I would say is download the Universal Orlando app, as Universal will typically release the park hours 30 to 60 days in advance, and if they're going to update anything, they typically update the app first. Over to early park admission though, we've been talking about it a lot on this video, and what I would say is Universal has changed the rides open for early park admission twice already in 2026. They actually changed it once, changed it back, then they changed it again. With that said, that you sort of just want to be sure that you're looking at the rides open for early park admission, like I said, as you're getting closer to your trip. Same thing, they typically release which parks are open for EPA, which rides are open, I would say about 30 to 60 days out. Sometimes like Islands of Adventure, they'll just say, hey, this one's going to be open for the entire year. But from what I've seen is if there's a cutoff date, like they say like early admission is at Epic Universe until April 31st, typically we'll get an update to that around 30 to 60 days out. And so you definitely just want to be mindful of that. If you're coming up with your strategy, your park plans and stuff like that, you just double check them 1 to 2 weeks out to make sure that you are sort of in the know. And again, if you need help doing this, our team over at the Park Prodigy is up to date on all of the changes. If you do go and you book your Universal Orlando vacation through us, we will be able to help you come up with those plans and of course give you the most latest and greatest breaking news as we see it. Over to mistake number 8, and this is such an important one when planning a Universal Orlando vacation that includes Epic Universe, but that would be assuming your stay includes an Epic Universe Express Pass. And this is one that I'm still seeing so much misconceptions about when it comes to planning a Universal Orlando trip, and it catches a lot of guests off guard. So the confusion is guests who stay at the Hard Rock, Portofino Bay, or Lowe's Royal Pacific Resort, get a complimentary 2-park unlimited express pass. But 2-park is the important thing to note there, where it's only included for Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida. Now, these express passes are going to be for every day of your vacation, check-in and check-out date as well. But again, most people, they see online that you get the Universal Express Pass for free if you stay here. It does not include Epic Universe, and it also doesn't include Volcano Bay. It's important for me to note that as well. And then also the other misconception is that a lot of guests just assume because Helios Grand Hotel is connected to Epic Universe, it definitely comes with a free express pass to Epic, but it does not. Helios Grand Hotel actually does not come with an express pass to any park. And so as you could see, it can be very confusing when you're planning your trip and trying to pick out the best hotel, but that's why I'm including it in this video, because the bottom line is that you do need to make sure that you're pricing up your vacation package correctly. And if you're trying to have an express pass for each park and you're staying at Hard Rock, Portofino Bay, or Royal Pacific, you definitely need to purchase or try to add a 1-day Epic Universe Express Pass to make sure that you have it for your day at Epic. Over to mistake number 9, and we've already gone over this, but I would say not having a backup plan for ride closures. And so this has been really the number one complaint online from Epic Universe guests, and that is the ride reliability issues, and they definitely can impact your day. So the reality is multiple major rides can go down simultaneously. And when that happens, wait times for the rides that remain open can go from 60 minutes up to 120 minutes, and that definitely can put a damper on your day. Okay, over to mistake number 9, and I would say not understanding these sort of special upgrades that are going on within Epic Universe. So at this point in time, we have the $45 power-up band, which can be used over in Super Nintendo World, and then we also have the Generation 2 interactive wands over in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And I've spoken about these both a bunch on my channel. I included them in my budgeting video just because I feel like for families visiting with young kids, this is a great way to just feel like you're getting more and keeping yourselves busy throughout the day, especially if you're sort of kind of trying to team this up with a single rider line where the family's splitting up a little bit. I feel like this definitely will allow you to sort of keep the kids busy while some of the older kids go on the rides. But also, even if it's raining and let's say some of the outdoor rides are down, and if you have ponchos, you could still sort of run around the park. I did this on my second to last trip where we were just running around Super Nintendo World in the rain with our power-up bands, still having fun. And again, it allows you to just feel like you're getting that much more done at Epic. And last but not least, over to mistake number 10, and this is one that hasn't been an issue in so long, and I personally understand the frustration, and we help so many families and get calls all the time because of the panic that we see from guests, and that would be not purchasing their park tickets in advance, because Epic Universe tickets are selling out, and they're still selling out at this point in time, especially because it's spring break. And so with that said, this was a problem like back in the COVID days when we were selling tickets, because Universal and Disney were sort of limiting the amount of people in the parks, tickets would sell out, but we haven't seen it for a while, but they definitely are selling out again. And this is so prevalent for Epic Universe, but also express passes for Epic Universe. So for that reason, the mistake here that you want to avoid is always buy your park tickets in advance. Do not show up at the gate just assuming that you're going to be able to buy tickets for that day. And this really not only helps you save money, but it also helps you save time. Like you could see, there's a lot that goes into your day at Epic Universe. You're trying to get the most out of your day. You won't have to show up and try to figure out at that point in time, like what is the best fit ticket. And like I said, nothing is worse. And I don't like it at all because it makes my life very difficult. If I have clients that are coming to us and they want to try to buy tickets, I hate having to say, hey, I'm sorry, the tickets are sold out for the day. But what I would also say there is the further out you buy your tickets, the best chance you have and the best pricing you will get, because Universal's tickets go up as you get closer to your trip. So if you're planning and you know that you have some time, I would start taking a look at park tickets now, and I would definitely make sure that you buy them if you are definitely going to Epic. And if you want some discounts on theme park tickets, like I've been saying in this video, definitely just be sure to go and check out our website, theparkprodigy.com, for the best pricing. And right now we're running a special promotion where you'll get an extra $10 off specific tickets and that Park Prodigy, and that coupon code is Park Prodigy 10. But I think that's all the time we have for today. As you can see, you can absolutely have an incredible trip to Epic Universe in 2026 and beyond. And these are some of the most common mistakes to avoid to make sure that you do have the most amazing time possible. If you found this video helpful, just be sure to hit that subscribe button, as I have a lot more Epic Universe strategy and crowd tip videos coming out in the coming weeks. But I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you again so much for checking out this video, and until next time, I will talk to you soon.